Hey everybody, Desert Rambler here, coming at you again with another video about what do I carry on my desert trips, what's in my supply tubs. You've maybe watched my video how to pack a two-door Jeep or any short wheelbase vehicle, and I had said I would go through each tub, what I bring, trying to keep it to a minimum. Before you is my kitchen setup. Now, it goes without saying, I try to keep it as simple as possible given my lack of space. But at the same time, I also have become to prefer having as little as possible for several reasons. Besides the weight savings, money savings, I just find that when I'm out adventuring, hiking around, camping solo, that when I keep my cooking and eating needs to a minimum, I get more time on the trail. I get more time on the road. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you bringing out a huge gourmet kitchen setup and doing that. That's fine. That's up to you. There's probably nothing more individualized than how you eat while you're camping. Probably many heated debates as to why you should do this or why you should do that. I'm not about that at all. You do what makes you happy. But I will challenge you to attempt at least a trip or two with the most minimum setup you can come up with. So if you are a full-on gourmet chef cooking type that brings giant propane stoves and steaks and huge refrigerators full of food, that ditch all of that one or two times and see what you think, because I will not go back to anything fancier than this. I'm probably at the minimum of what I would carry now, but who knows, maybe I'll figure out a way to get rid of 2 or 3 more items out of here. In fact, stick around and I'm going to show you one item in this pile that is going to disappear from my camping setup. So first thing first, what do I use to cook? So as you can see here, the most simplest backpacking form of cookware right here, I feel, is these little screw-in. These are a hybrid camp fuel. It's propane mixed with butane, I believe. Unfortunately, here in California, I think they are banning these. I know they are banning the green propane tanks because there are literally millions of them showing up in the dumpsters with all the state and national parks that we have here. Campers are not packing out their stuff and they just are leaving these green propane canisters laying everywhere. I have a feeling, I think these are possibly involved with that. I don't know, but for now I'm still using these, and you can get these nice little bases here off anywhere online, but these just screw on, flip the legs out, and they work quite nice. They're very hot. And for cooking, I use 2 of these Stanley cookware deals here, kind of nice, and the handle folds out and then folds back in to close the lid down. But I use one for food. They do tend to get a little bit dirty inside and can be hard to clean. That will eventually come off, but I do save one of these for like coffee or hot water, for tea, what have you. And then the other one I use for food. So I do have 2 of these. In fact, it came in a 2-pack, which is nice. So if one fails, or if you have a friend with you. Also, the Stanleys come with a nice drinking cup here. In addition, my other cookware are these non-stick. This is just the Amazon Basics camp cookware. The handles fold up nice. And here's a pot. So if I'm doing ramen, or here I could do, I've fried meat and other items in there before. And honestly, I just don't see any other need for anything else. So the only drawback here, I will say, is that when you do get your cookware stacked up here, it gets a little bit tippy, and you do have to be careful, especially if it's something that's really heavy in there. So I may switch to something that's got a little bit wider base there, but I don't know, we'll see how it goes. In addition, we have this windbreak here. Now this folds up, and if you need to make a complete circle around to block it, it will go all the way around. And then it closes in, and you can link it onto itself for a complete circle. And out in the desert, I find that I have to use that pretty much every time. There's always some kind of fairly decent breeze there. And the flame just starts blowing over to the side too much, and it's not cooking evenly. So moving on, one other device that I've used for cooking, and this is a BioLite stove here. Now I will say there's nothing wrong with this. It does work, but just look at the size of it here. That's pretty much the main issue. It does all pack up and go together inside of each other. I've just got it all out here right now, but it's just very, very large and ungainly. And this item here is not coming with me, with one exception. So this part here is your burner, I guess, where you light the fire inside of this. And then it uses this thermocouple here. It heats up. It actually turns the fan on, which helps to power the fuel in there. It kind of turns it into a little blast furnace. Now this thing does work pretty good, but you have to carry either bags of pellets, and if these get damp at all, they will not light, or you have to find sticks and twigs or whatever. And of course, out in the national parks, it is not allowed to take firewood, or even sticks for that matter, and burn them. So you are kind of stuck with using these special pellets, so you have an expense there. In addition, getting it lit can be a challenge, and it takes a while for it to get warmed up. So you pour these in, you have to have some sort of fire starting device, either like this powder that you'd pour on top of the pellets, or maybe one of these little flint match deals that's got like paraffin on it. You'd light that, drop it in there, and when this gets hot enough here, it starts blowing the fan. But you have to constantly feed this thing to keep it going. Meanwhile, this thing here has already been lit, and it's probably got your food half cooked. So I don't use this. I'm not saying it's not useful. Where I think it would be useful is as a little miniature bonfire or a campfire, where this thing actually does give off heat and puts a little bit of a flame out the top, and this gets warm. You could even use it without this fan unit, which just pulls apart, and you have yourself a little miniature campfire. Maybe where you are not allowed to have a campfire, this is technically your cooker, if someone was to ask you, and it would be safe, and I don't think it would cause any sparking. So it may go with me as a little campfire, especially if I'm going in a colder month. And it would probably be great if you were out camping in the cold or in the snow, and you just wanted a little something to give you some ambience or warm your hands up. So of course you need a lighter of some kind, matches, what have you. And anyway, moving on to some of the other cookware utensil items. So as far as silverware, all I bring is this little spoon, fork, and knife, little pocket knife thing here. And you open this up, and when you open it, the pieces all come apart and it becomes individual knives and fork set, just like that. Of course, you need a can opener. I've got just a general knife here to use as a butter knife or what have you, slicing something. This happens to be a World War I era one-piece metal knife. Got this from my grandfather, and it was also used on camping trips back in the old days, so just thought it'd be fitting to have that in the pack here. And again, all this fits inside of this small tub here, minus this, of course. So one other thing I take is a stainless steel grate. Now this is something I've recently acquired, and this would be useful for if you had a campfire that was legal, and you can set this across some stones and you can have fire underneath there. So it's just more of kind of like a backup. If something goes haywire over here with this stuff, I mean, at least you got something you can use to get a fire going. So on to food. So what do I eat? This is, again, an area where I've tried to be as simple as possible. And I'll go over a few of the items here just briefly and why. So one thing you may have noticed, like, why do I have this here? Now, this is a canister of bear spray. Well, if you're out cooking and you're putting those smells out into the air and the wind is blowing it, you're going to attract wild animals. So you might want to have some bear spray handy. And it's not just for bear spray. It could be for any type of wild animal that comes in and will not leave. So, all right, spices. The only spice you need, right? Pepper. Pretty much am on a diet of beans and soup. I've got sardines. Here's some canned salmon for breakfast. We may have some instant oatmeal that you can put in to one of these cooking devices here. I've got some ramen here. I'll usually bring some bread, you know, peanut butter, and some crackers here. This is a instant shells here, like Alfredo kind of a thing. Also cooks up nice with the utensils over there. And in my cooler, which is pretty small, I will carry, you know, cheese. Here's some pre-hard-boiled eggs, yogurt, you know, ham. I'll try to minimize the bottles of things. So if I have it, just ketchup packs and mayonnaise and some mustard. And so I'll try to usually buy packs of that. I just didn't happen to have any at the moment. Meat sticks and jerky, which is not shown here, but that's really a great thing to just keep you going. Also, I will carry pretzels for the salt intake, especially if you're out in the desert and it's warm. I will put some pretzels into my jacket or my safari vest and just munch on a few of those, you know, every 15-20 minutes, just to keep that salt intake up. So really, really basic. And again, just wrapping up, I challenge you to just give a simple cooking trip a try, and you'll just see how much faster and how much more time that you will get out on the trail or out on the road. And if you are already doing a simple setup like this, definitely let me know what you are using in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what simple cooking items you use, what simple food items you eat, how do you pack it, do you see something here that you know of a better product that would help me either trim mine down or just make life easier out on the trail. So again, thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and those really help me out, lets me know that you want to keep seeing videos like this. Hopefully something on here inspires you to try something different, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video, and hopefully I will be out on the trail coming up soon. I've still been on a little bit of a hiatus, waiting for weather and whatnot to open up, and we'll certainly have more content on the channel. Take care, and we'll see you out on the trail.